G'day, this test has been a long time coming, approximately 2 years in fact. What I'm going to do is tell you a little bit about this particular product tyre, motorcycle tyre, which is the Metzeler M7RR. Before I do that, I just want to describe the way that we tested it. These tyres are fitted to a number of the California Superbike School BMW S1000RRs here in Australia. And over the course of a couple of years, I've done somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000 laps on different racetracks around Australia. Queensland Raceway, Sydney Motorsport Park and Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit. And in most circumstances, these tyres are, under a fair bit of strain. There's no dilly-dallying around when you're coaching students at the California Superbike School. And they've been, pushed super hard, including lean angles up to 61 degrees from the records we've got from the dash of the motorcycle. In addition to that, I whacked the set on this S1000RR BMW, which is not a standard one. This one has got a fuel management system, an SC Project exhaust, an air filter, and it's been dyno tuned and pulls 9.38 quarter mile drag strip times. And it's no slouch, so this particular bike puts these tyres under a fair bit of pressure, and it's something that I would ride on a Saturday and Sunday up the ranges or local hills. So that's a little bit about the background of the testing itself. What I found is the M7RR is brilliant in its performance in a couple of areas. On a racetrack, right, surprisingly good in terms of its traction and stability on the racetrack under, quite extreme conditions. It's not quite like if you look at the Metzeler Sportec M7RR, which is more of a road racing tyre. It's racing oriented. This one was never designed for that. This is a sport riding tyre. But it's surprising how close in performance this gets to that particular tyre. Where they differ is that on a racetrack at extreme lean angles, and if you're in that 55 to 60 degree range, you've got to be a lot more careful on the throttle, a lot more gentle on the throttle with this particular tyre, because it will tend to let go at those extreme lean angles, which you would expect for this type of tyre. Whereas the Racetec RR, right, is more conditioned and constructed to be able to maintain its grip and stability at extreme lean angles. So surprisingly good on the racetrack. In the wet, no comparison, right, to the more race-oriented tyres. The way that they've constructed the grooves, first of all, you've got a slick strip down the centre, so when the bike is vertical, it just behaves like a slick. And when you get into the lean angles, they've designed these grooves in such a way that as you get more and more to the lean, it gets more extreme in terms of its ability to remove water. So the grip of these in the wet is extremely good. Now, the construction of these particular tyres, this is the interesting part for me, and it helps me understand a little bit about why it performs so well on the racetrack. The technology that Metzeler have, and they've got a number of different technologies, the one that interests me most is this Interact technology. And what Interact is multi-tensioning according to different zones of the tyre. So they have steel bands that run this way through the tyre, right through the centre and through the sides, and they're able to change the tensioning to suit the type of use that this tyre will have. So for example, the Racetec RR will have different tensioning through it, right, than will the M7RR. In fact, from my knowledge, there's a little bit of an opposite effect in terms of how they approach this, because this particular tyre's got a very soft compound. You can get 3 different compounds in fact, but it's a much softer compound, and a lot of the grip or traction that you're getting from this tyre is enhanced by the compound itself. Whereas on this particular tyre, they change the way that they tension the steel bands, and that allows this tyre to get a really good, large contact patch. And its grip and traction is accentuated by the flexing of the tyre. So 2 different compounds in effect, but a lot of similar performance. The other thing about this particular tyre is it's multi-compound on the back, it's a single compound on the front. So the centre is kind of a mixture which has high silica compound in it, whereas as we go to the sides, we get 100% silica and much more traction towards the edge, and even if you go right to the extremes, it's almost a slick tyre on that edge there. I think the new M9RR that's coming out has a wider slick strip on this edge here. The front tyre itself is 100% silica, and its performance is just brilliant. So That's probably it from me. Just, final comments. I'm definitely going to leave these on my road bike. I love the handling of these things on the street. They perform brilliantly in the wet. And the most important thing to take away is a lot of people think that, if they put a high performance race tyre on their street bike and then ride up and down the ranges, they're going to get much more performance. That's not necessarily the case, because each tyre is constructed to perform under certain conditions. And, and I'm making the number up, more than 90% of riders out on the road would get so much performance out of this particular tyre, it would exceed their capability. And like I said, I know a little bit about riding, and I'm running the M7RRs on this S1000RR. Man, that's a mouthful. And super, super happy with the performance of these. Highly recommend them. Go and get yourself a set.